Hey folks, welcome to Shadows in the North, and we're about as cool as we sound. Up for you today, we have a big thank you. We want to shout out to saying, hey, we have 125 people who aren't our mothers watching our channel.
Yep. I mean, we have 128, but I mean, some of
What?
those are our mothers. So I mean,
Wife, two mothers, or do you have
yeah.
three mothers? Or
I
two
mean,
mothers?
I have a couple. They're
Yeah,
kicking around.
yeah. hmm
We're all a little confused
So,
sometimes.
yeah, we have 125 people who aren't our mothers watching our Warhammer channel, which, I mean, you guys don't have anything better to do, or...
They just like the
Alright,
sultry.
well, thank you,
Thank you
regardless.
very much. Yeah, they just like the
Hey,
sultry sound of our voice.
the sultry sound of our tones. Oh, did I tell you today at work, we had this guy who sounded like, Jeff Bridges walk in? I was like, sir, you have an amazing voice. And he's like, you do too. And I was like, no, I don't.
Oh,
No,
you
I
stop, you.
don't. You stop. Alright, anyway, focus. So what are you up to in the hobby these days?
Well, I somehow miraculously got my monocorns to a corn army to a 3-color minimum, which is awesome. So that was kind of the big push leading up to Colonial.
Right.
I was doing, a couple hours a night and with you most of the time,
With me.
just kind of chatting, and was able to get that done. It ended up taking the entire day, the day before, into like the night of the night when we were in the hotel to finally get everything finished. But it was done. It was to a 3-color minimum. I didn't win any painting awards. I would have had a much better painting score had I even spent the time to shade my flesh hounds, which were just, they were bare minimum.
Yeah, they were pretty bad. I'm surprised you actually scored as high as you did.
Well, it's because my war shrine was, I think, pretty well done. My skull cannons were fully converted. My soul grinder didn't look unfinished because, I just needed 1 or 2 washes on him. But the legs were fully detailed and fully highlighted and shaded. So that was literally, quite literally a half-finished model because it was from the waist down. He was good.
Oh, and then your basing didn't count. Your basing was just a bonus point.
Yeah, exactly. My basing was a bonus point for that. So I technically had a name tag, which was a bonus point.
Yeah.
I did pretty well, all things considered, with the painting, despite my army was all over the place. But since then, I've been going back and just kind of experimenting with new things. I haven't had a ton of time to paint. I'm just about to start another exam period, which starts next Tuesday. And so I haven't really had a ton of time to paint, but I took some time to experiment with adding adding some more blue to my Furies and to the rest of my models. I'm going to carry that over. Yeah, I'm adding blue eyes. I'm going to add blue lightning bolts, basically blue lightning cracks down the swords, which I tried it out. It looks pretty cool. Really kind of breaks up the extraordinarily red army.
Yeah.
So that looks really cool. The things on the back, I'm not sure what you call them, the things protruding from the bloodletter's back. Those things I did kind of a dark blue with blue highlights. Yeah, the spine. I did this kind of a dark blue with blue highlights to break it up. Just kind of seeing how that works. It's looking pretty good right now. I need to go through and do all that. Also been working on ways to improve my basing with some more static grass and trying to find. Oh, I need to find.
You need to find blue flowers.
Yeah, well, I haven't been able to find blue flowers you can buy, but I looked on Cool Mini and they had an article on how to make flowers. Basically, it's as simple as you buy a sponge of your chosen color, you rinse it out like crazy, you let it dry to the consistency of chalk, and then you just literally attack it with a cheese grater.
Awesome.
And that's a way to get flowers of any color you want, and then you can just glue that ground up sponge to your base, and it kind of looks like blue flowers or whatever color flowers you want. So I'm going to try that out. I just need to find. I need to go to the grocery store and pick up a blue sponge or something. And then that'll be covered. So then my bases will look a lot better. And other than that, looking at what army I'm going to take for brawlers, and I need to plan how I'm going to paint that. But we'll get to talk about that later. How about you, Joe? What have you been up to?
Well, I bought 100 magnets last week, and let me tell you, I've been going crazy with some magnets by placing a dot of super glue on the bottom of the base, and then placing the magnet on top of that.
Oh man.
Man, oof.
Whew. You've been tearing it up. You just use super glue?
I just use super glue, and then I'll probably go back through and anchor it a little bit with green stuff.
Yeah, that's a
But
good idea.
I don't have any green stuff right now. I
Ah,
like, use the rest of my green stuff finishing that Dark Elf Army project. Oh, by the
right.
way, I'm done with the Dark Elf Army project. Um,
Yeah, yeah, you are.
yeah, and I'm proud to say the Dark Elf Army Commission max scored of what it was possible to score at the
Yep.
Colonial Carnage GT.
Yeah, man. Well, you
Byron was
max
super
scored
happy.
too.
I max scored, yeah. My paint score maxed, not
Yeah,
just.
yeah, exactly. It was pretty awesome, and you were able to get max. I mean, you didn't get. I
Yeah,
think you weren't. I think technically 120 or 21 is the maximum you can get. You
yeah,
got a 20.
I got
But
20.
20 is like you need to be
Like,
nominated for best army.
yeah,
So
yeah. So I was nominated for best army. I didn't get nominated for best painting. Like the one point is just, oh my God, your painting's just so perfect and awesome, and mine's not quite at that level.
yeah,
So I'm super stoked just to get 20 out of 21 points.
yeah,
Like I said, I think it helps living in the Mid-Atlantic, where on the West Coast, my army is just slightly above par. Um,
right.
so yeah,
Well,
but
and I feel like, I mean, I like the way the Mid Atlantic does this in terms of for every tournament you have like a checklist. If
right,
you follow that checklist, you can get max points. Doesn't necessarily you don't have to necessarily be artistically talented. You don't need to be like a golden demon winner to win best or like to get max points in your score. You just get a
right,
bonus points if your army blows them away in terms of like having that quality to be a golden demon winner, which I guess one person at the tournament did have that. He's a previous golden demon. It was the guy you played round 5.
round 5. Yeah, Gabe Thorne. Yeah, he
Gabe
actually
Thorne,
has
yeah,
won a Golden
exactly.
Demon.
Yeah,
And
he
his
won
art was
one.
gorgeous. It was actually a really fun game to play. I took a lot of pictures. I lied. I didn't take that many pictures.
God damn it, Joe.
I,
You have one job.
I had lots of jobs. Okay, Elven lives were depending on me. Awesome.
Yeah, true, they were.
Anyway, but yeah, it was really fun round 5. Gabe Thorne and I went head to head with his really cool looking army. Mine, pretty cool looking army. Not quite as cool as Gabe's. His ogres against my high elves, and that was really fun. Um, so since we've been talking a lot about Colonial, how'd you do a Colonial?
I got 4th battle, 5th overall. So it started off with, I mean, my first battle report's now posted, so people that saw the battle report will know. I faced off against Bretonians, which I mean, Bretonians are the best draw I could possibly get. Like that's
Yeah,
like it's literally that was literally the best opening draw I could have possibly hoped for. My army matches up perfectly against Bretonians, all the way down to my entire core having strength 4 killing blow. Like that, there's
yeah,
nothing that is better than
yeah,
that against Bretonians. So. Yeah, it was a little stupid how good a matchup that was. So I ended up 20-0ing that. I mean, he was gone by turn 3, which is about what I expected to happen.
right,
Like I said, it's just perfect matchup. The only thing that could have gone wrong is if he dropped a rock on my Bloodthirster's head. But even then, I think I still would have won. Probably still won 20-0. It just would have taken more than 3 turns.
right.
Because I just don't think he had anything that could take out my Bloodletters, assuming I didn't make a mistake. Game 2, that put me towards the top end. So I was playing Robert Brandon, who's an absolutely fantastic player. He's going to Masters this time, and he was playing Demons. And that is probably one of my 2 best played games of the tournament. I have that video set to go. I just have to record that one, and that one, like I said, is probably one of the best played games. One of the 2 best games I played all weekend. It was that and Game 5 were my 2 best tactically as a player. How about you talk about your first 2 games, and then we can talk about Game 3 together.
All right. So game 1, unlike you, where just Gaddy or Kurnian or whatever you're calling yourself on the internet.
Doesn't matter. As long as you
Doesn't
don't call me
matter.
asshole.
You had 4 out of 5 matchups were perfect draws for you, where you had one tough matchup that you could have won if you had done things a little differently,
Right.
or at least you'd have at least gotten a small loss. So you only had one kind of iffy matchup.
Right.
Where I, on the other hand, had the exact opposite. I had 4 terrible matchups and 1 decent matchup.
Right.
Right, yeah. So my first round draw was against the guy who won Best Sportsman. He's a fantastic player, Jared. man, it was a really fun game. It was a great way to kick off the tournament. But he was running a Gracier, a BSB, a Warlord with the Fellblade, double Assassins. He had double Warp Lightning Cannons, a Doom Wheel, 2 units of 40 Slaves, because I think that was easier on his comp. 2 units of 40 Slaves, a unit of 40 Clan Rats, 40 Storm Vermin. Just an absolute poop show. For me, if it all kind of depended on how those cannons felt like playing early in the morning.
Right.
But I actually ended up winning 18-2. I lost the 20-0 because his assassin and a unit of slaves jumped out with the Weeping Blades and poked my Archmage, and my Archmage died in a green mist.
Nice.
Pretty awesome way for an Archmage to go.
Yeah.
And then my game 2 was against Dark Elves, and I played a lovely guy up from Rockville. And he was running Dark Elves, which is my one decent matchup. You know, it's hard to say that Dark Elves are your decent matchup, but he was running a level 4 life Master BSB, and then the Death Hag on the Cauldron. He ran a big block of Corsairs because they're like 0 comp points apparently.
Yeah.
I haven't even looked at that, but yeah, apparently Corsairs are really light.
Yeah.
1 unit of Dark Shards, 2 units of Dark Riders, big block of Executioners, which you watch it in the report if I ever get around to it. But my Flamespire Phoenix killed how many Executioners, John? Would you guess?
I don't know. Maybe something like, what'd you say? You told me.
22.
Yeah, it was a ridiculous number.
Ridiculous. My Flamespire jumped over, burned 14, jumped back, and burned another 8 with the Magic Vase. Oh, it was amazing. So many dead Dark Elves. And then he only had 2 Bolt Throwers, and he had a big unit of Cold One Knights, but without any characters in there.
Right.
So he was really playing, because he was running the Life Mage, was really playing for the comp there, I think. He had 1 Cold One Chariot.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, but that game was just so perfect because I outshot him, I outfought him, and I was actually tougher than he was too.
Yeah.
Just with Phoenix Guard and a Star Dragon. There's nothing in his list could kill a Star Dragon, essentially.
Right. Exactly.
So then what happened game 3?
Yeah, what happened game 3? So it just so happened with you getting a 20-0 and an 18-2, and me getting 2 20-0s.
We were on table 1.
We were on table 1 playing against each other, which was pretty awesome. It was kind of cool to have that.
Not awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty sick. So we were up there table 1 last round of day 1, and this game went better for you than the first time we played this matchup.
Well, yeah, that's true.
So I mean,
so the matchup is so heavily in your favor with the double skull cannons.
Well, it is and it isn't. I mean, yeah, I'm going to get your dragon. I'm not going to get your lord unless I go into combat.
Right.
So I'm not going to get full points for it, especially with at the time we believed that me getting the dragon doesn't get me any points. That influenced some of my decisions in the game because I thought that if I got the rider, I got points for the rider. If I got the dragon, I get no points unless I also got the rider. I thought that's the way it was being scored. That's the way it kind of sounded on the initial FAQ. Turns out that's wrong, and I would have gotten points for the dragon. Had I known that, I probably would have played a little bit differently towards the end of the game.
No. In that tournament, you still weren't getting points for the dragon. You only got points for the rider. If you
really?
Kept the rider. Yes, it's because we were using an earlier version of the Masters FAQ than what the current FAQ is.
Oh, because I thought that was released before the tournament started, so I thought they were...
It was released the day before our tournament started, so we were using...
They kept that, okay.
We were using when our tournament pack was fine. So yeah, we played it right.
Okay, so we did play it right.
Okay. You don't get the points for the dragon in that tournament.
Okay, got it. So I wouldn't have gotten any points for that. And with considering that and the fact that there is 0 chance of me touching your Phoenix card, I mean, it's not as big a matchup. I mean, I'm not going to win big. It isn't in your favor because you're not going to get to use your dragon, but it's not like it wasn't such a bad matchup that you were going to drop the 20-0 to me.
Right. Yeah. Unless the Chaos God sees me again.
Right. But they have just as much of a chance to seize me as well. Right.
So you just stop rolling 6s.
Right. Yeah.
So, and then that game I played it pretty tight. I wasn't going to play it fast and loose, and I was just trying to get points where I could. Honestly, So I think a 12-8, which is how the game ended. Sorry,
Yeah.
you won 12-8, which I
Yep.
think was like, whoa, how did I get 8 points out of this matchup?
Yeah. It was
Um,
good.
and then actually until the bottom of turn 6, I was winning
Yep, you were.
because your Bloodthirster charged into my archers. I think my archers have messed with your Bloodthirster like every time we've played.
Yeah, probably.
Didn't they put they put like 3 wounds on him in that
Um,
Escalation League game?
Yeah. So I mean, what ended up happening is that I charged. I mean, you'll see this when we do the battle report. But basically, like, push comes to shove. We're down towards the end of the game. I know I was there, like, thinking I didn't get points for your dragon. I need to kill your lord. So I charged my Bloodthirster into his archer bunker. It was his lord that hopped into the archers. I was charging the front, and the Phoenix Guard in no way, shape, or form could get into position to charge me. I also had a long charge with a unit of Bloodletters to his flank. So I took it the first time. I needed a 10. I rolled a 9. So I just missed by 1. Okay, so I move up 6 inches. We fight a couple rounds. He puts 2 or 3 wounds over the next 2 rounds of combat on my Bloodthirster.
With my friends,
I'm down to 2 wounds to go. My Bloodletters now need a 4 to make the charge into the flank. I rolled a 3.
He biffs it.
So I missed it by 1 inch again. So the Bloodletters would have, I mean, just doing the quick calculation in my head, I felt like, okay, well, even if I fail this one, assuming I don't roll crap here, I should have a decent chance of making it in 2 rounds, and he shouldn't kill me before then, especially because my Bloodthirster had I rolled a 2-up armor save for his gift, which was nice. Otherwise, I wouldn't have thrown him into a big unit of archers, pretty much. So yeah, like, I mean, I kept winning combat every single round because of Thunderstomp, but he was obviously steadfast because my Bloodletters failed to get in.
Right.
It kept going down, and eventually he put the last wound on my Bloodthirster. My Bloodthirster drops. The following turn, I charge my Bloodletters, and I break his unit. So
it was like a leadership 8 with a reroll.
Right. Which is, I mean, to be fair, it's just about as lucky as failing a 4-inch charge.
I know. But I mean, the win there would have been so amazing.
Yeah, that would have been pretty crazy.
I would have gotten to play Jacob Brandon's Tomb Kings.
And I would have gotten
You would have had to play Dwarves.
Which, I mean, that matchup against Dwarves, I think, is not as bad for me as it is for you.
Oh, yeah. Oh, so let's talk round 4. So I played double cannon, grudge thrower, organ gun, the unkillable dwarf lord, hammer block, long beard, double spell eater, dwarf list.
Yeah.
It went about as well as it sounds. I mean, if I had just like sat down and hid, he still would have won 15-5. So I was like, well, let's go for it.
Mm-hmm.
So I went for it, and didn't go well. I got 20-0'd. But you know, at least I can hold my head up pride and say, instead of just like, even if I like put a conga line on the back table edge, he still would have won 15-5. So I was like, let's just if his war machines miss and my dragon just starts rolling train on his stuff, then I win 20-0. But wasn't to be.
Yeah, you went for it, and it didn't pay off for you, which is unfortunate. So at this point, yeah, I remember seeing that game because I was you were sitting at table 3 at the time, and I was sitting at table 2.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just looked over, and you just gave me this look of sheer disappointment.
Yeah.
you just looked so sad.
Tears of bitter nerd rage.
Yeah, it was pretty ridiculous. I mean, I don't know why Swedish is so nice on dwarves, but I mean, they won that weekend. They won 2 separate Swedish comp tournaments,
and they were both that list that I just listed off, like with all of that stuff, is a 14.
Yeah,
it's 14.
Ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So that was crazy. How about just go ahead and tell you about your game 5 then?
Oh, so my game 5 was against Gabe Thorne and his Ogre Kingdoms list. That was a pretty soft Ogre Kingdoms list. He was running a character wall and a unit of Iron Guts. He had a unit of Yetis, which I hadn't played against in a while. 3 Mornfang, 1 Iron Blaster, 2 Saber Tusks, and a unit of Bulls. I did the same thing where I won first turn because I just out-deployed him. I flew my dragon up right at his Iron Blaster and was like, you get 1 shot, buddy. His Iron Blaster lines up, shoots me, does 6 wounds to the Star Dragon, and kills the Prince on top. It's like, oh my gosh, not again.
Oh my god.
But luckily his Iron Blaster was out of his General's arc. I charged it with the dragon, it failed its terror and ran off the table.
That's nice at least.
Yeah, it was nice. And then his Mornfang champion, because he was trying to burn points, he gave it a brace of ogre pistols.
Right.
and he kept rolling to hit on a 6 and kept like rolling to wound on a 5, and I was just having a heart attack because if he actually killed my dragon there.
Right.
But I was able to fly my dragon back, sit there and apotheosis it back up. I got my Phoenix Guard into his Iron Gut character wall on turn 3, and my BSB had 7 Strength 8 attacks.
Whew.
So he just cut down the BSB and did like 3 wounds to his Tyrant in 1 round of combat. And then, well, I mean, my Phoenix Guard just hacked his unit apart, broke his Steadfast in 1 round. I lost 2 Phoenix Guard.
Yep.
Yep, that's how it goes.
Yes, it does.
And then he had a unit of Man-Eaters, and this was awesome because he scouted his Man-Eaters up to threaten my shooting bunker. And so I flew my Flame Phoenix over to like cover that flank, and so he just turns and tries to run his Man-Eaters as close to his general as possible because he knows he's gonna lose them to because the Man-Eaters had a flaming banner on them, so he can't do anything to the Phoenix. I make a long charge into the rear of his Man-Eaters, and they are like sitting at 13 inches away from the BSB. He was so close to making it, and I just he failed his leadership 7, and I ran him down. It was like the Flame Phoenix coming back in a vengeance there.
Nice.
He got like a 400-point unit of Man-Eaters.
Nice. That's awesome.
That's awesome. So I won 20-0.
Yeah. Cool. So where'd that put you at the end?
So that put me in 9th in battle, which put me at 4th overall. 1 point ahead of you.
Yep, you jumped me.
Jumped you. Dwarf, high elf jump.
Yes, you did. So that was pretty solid. My game 4 put me on table 2, move 1 table down. I was playing Jacob Brandon, who's going to Masters. It's the same list he's taken to Masters. It is a very deceptively tough Tomb Kings list. It is. I don't want to give away too much because he's playing at Masters, and I don't want to screw him over in case. I mean, I highly doubt anyone going to Masters listening to us fools, but just in case, I don't want to give too much away. But yeah, I mean that game did not go well. Basically, having no magic at all, I just couldn't stop between his winds of magic. He had multiple channels. He had the casket, and he had the Hero Titan. He was getting +4 plus D3 to cast every spell. And with my limited dice, I just couldn't even cast it. Even when I tried to dispel spells, I only got it about half the time because I just wasn't adding anything. And he would be able to add a lot. And I tried to save it for the important spell, like the spell that I knew was coming. That I need to stop this. But because of his +4 plus D3, I stopped about half the time. So that sucked. My Bloodthirster ended up. I mean, I also attacked his army the wrong way. I should have. Realized that there's no chance in hell of me stopping his raising. And so I ran my Bloodthirster out alone. He got chapped up with a unit champion, and then it only took 1 round where I miffed combat. He won by static res. I basically miffed my 2 wound rolls against his unit champion in a challenge. He won by static res by a couple, and I completely blew up on my instability test. Yep. So that dropped my Bloodthirster. At that point, I was really far down. I just kind of kept pushing. I know what I have to do if I were to face it again, and that actually goes right into Game 5, which I thought is once again, like I said at the start of this, is one of the 2 best games I played all weekend, I think. It was that and the game against Robert Brandon. It was against vampires, and this guy was also using Lore of Undeath. Oh yeah, I didn't mention that. Jacob Brandon had Lore of Undeath level 4, and he had a Lore of Nakara level 4. And between it was just bad. So I saw what Lore of Undeath could do. It was the first time I faced against Jacob Brandon, and I learned my lesson in Game 5, and I just completely bum rushed him, and that was another game. I mean, that game went flawlessly. I lost 2 units of Furies, and that was it. And took him off by turn 3. And it was just like it was another one of those games. I just played it. I think I played it really well. And I ended up winning that 20-0. So, yeah, that was a great game, and that put me at 72 battle points, which was enough for 4th battle, as I said, and 5th overall because of my painting.
Yep.
So, yeah, it was pretty successful. I was pretty happy with that. And, yeah, I mean, 2 out of 5 games that I think are probably some of the best games I've ever played. I mean, I'll take that. Like,
Solid.
yeah. So.
And then, yeah, I mean, like, just overall, the tournament was great.
Oh,
It was a sweet venue, with it being in the same hotel that we were staying. Todd put on a really great show there with how awesome. Just the terrain was good. Everything ran smoothly. I liked the scenario. You could kind of choose your scenario per matchup, which was really nice.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I wish we had, and Todd actually wished he had too, was the most updated Masters FAQ, which, Hills block line of sight.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
We were playing Hills. We were playing True Line of Sight because at the time our tournament pack was finalized, the Masters FAQ was still True Line of Sight.
Right.
So I feel like I'd have done much better in the tournament if I could have, not been cannonballed off every game.
Yeah, that would have been nice. That would have been really nice.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think with being True Line of Sight, I think you played it right because I mean, because you can't hide, you did exactly. I mean, I think you played it right in every game in terms of just like not giving someone 6 turns to shoot at you. You move up into their face and be like, "Kill me or don't."
Yep.
Kill me or don't.
Win or don't. Where's your artillery dice? Win or don't. Right here.
Exactly. Like that's. Yeah. I think that's the best way that you could have possibly attacked the game.
Yeah, I mean, 4 out of 5 opponents had at least 1 cannon.
Yeah.
And then 3 of those opponents had double cannons.
Right. Right.
There's just no way, there's no way to do well against that running the Star Dragon.
And the total of 3 of those cannons moved.
And a total of 3 of those cannons moved.
Right. So, I mean, you couldn't even screen yourself with the Flame Spire because, I mean, I could just move to an area where I could see you.
Yep.
It made it hard. I mean, I knew I was going to kill your dragon.
Right.
That wasn't a question. It's just I wasn't sure where else I was getting points against you.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, I mean, I successfully screened my Star Dragon against the Dwarf player with the Flame Spire, and then a Grudge Thrower landed on my head.
Yep, that'll do it.
Just rolled a hit. He couldn't not roll a hit.
Yeah.
It was so bad.
Float those dice, man.
Oh, dwarves.
Yeah, dwarves.
Why does everyone hate dwarves? Oh, I know why.
Yeah. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so what about for next tournament? Where are you looking? We're both looking.
We are going to Brawler's Bash.
Yep.
Because I am married to the most amazing woman in the world. Is letting me go to Brawler Bash. Brawler Bash, whatever.
Brawler Bash.
I'm gonna run High Elves. I'm not running that Eternity King crap.
Yeah.
What are you running?
I am running Chaos Legions because so Brawler Bash.
You're a terrible person.
Brawler Bash, for people that don't know, it is a tournament. It is 3K. It is uncomped. This year they added a little bit of comp. They banned some special characters. Throg is banned, for example. I believe Kairos is as well, but I'm not certain. And then all of the End Times characters are banned. So that's that. Actually, I think you can take some of the lower level characters from Glotkin. You can't take Glotkin, but you can take the
you can take the terrible characters.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can take the terrible characters from End Times, but all like the big powerful. Obviously, Malekith is banned, and Karl Franz and all that stuff, and Imrik, and Nagash. So those, aside from that, it's 3K uncomped. The scoring system is very unique. It's not a 20-0 system, so it doesn't matter. The points difference between you and your opponent doesn't matter. All that matters is that you kill stuff, and your total tournament points is equal to the number of victory points you score every game.
Mm-hmm.
So being mono demons and expecting that because it's 3K uncomped, there's going to be a lot of Banner of the World Dragon, I would be losing, multiple points every game, just because I just can't do anything to the Banner of the World Dragon unit. Last year, one of the major, one of the top finishers, I think for High Elves, I think it was Furbush. Yeah, I think it was Furbush. He had basically a block of White Lions with Banner of the World Dragon, and he had Teclis, Arlie, and Alethanar all in that, or Illyria, whatever. Illyria and Alethanar all sitting in that unit. Ended up being a BSB and a couple other light mages. Ended up being cost a total of about 1,500 points. That'd be 1,500 points I could never touch. So, I don't want to enter a tournament where if I get a bad matchup against either High Elves or Eternity Kings, I can't get half their army. So I'm taking Chaos Legions. You gave me a nice little list idea, which I'm
Oh,
probably going
you're
to be.
welcome.
Yeah, yeah. You gave me a nice little list idea, and the more I've been thinking about it, I think I'm going to go with that. Basically consists of Bellacore, 3-up Doom Bowl, some, core, whatever. Oh, a 3-up BSB, core of Warriors of Chaos. So it has to be focused again around one army if you do a combined army. And, most of your points basically have to come from that, from each section. So I have, a couple Chariots, big block of Warriors. Special is a unit of Knights. Rare is 2 Hell Cannons and 2 Skull Cannons.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah. So that's a fun army.
That's a fun army. I'm glad you think so.
I mean, I'm probably going to just shoot until I kill the opponent's war machines, and then charge forward my hell cannons. We both know
Go get them hell cannons.
Yeah, we both know me well enough to know that once I am no longer at risk to his war machines, I'm going to start charging my stuff forward.
Yep.
Like, you know me well enough to know that I'm too aggressive to sit back in gun lines. So,
yep.
Yes, I mean, I'm going to take that. I'm going to see how it goes. I think it'll be fun. And I mean, Brawl Bash in general is a pretty fun tournament because you have to change your mentality approaching it, because it doesn't matter how much your opponent kills. All that matters is how much you kill.
Yep.
So it kind of takes a lot of the pressure off of like, oh, well, I lost that unit. Well, whatever. Like, it doesn't hurt you in any way to lose lose something. I mean, it can hurt you, I guess, if that you need that to kill something else. But I mean, it's not the same mentality as, oh, darn it, I lost all those points, which means it's going to swing from a 20-0 to a 15-5. Like, that doesn't matter anymore.
Right.
So, have you settled on a list?
Kind of, not really. I'm still
really.
batting a couple around, but the one I think I'm gonna run just because it sounds really, really fun is, oh, please don't hate me, internet, but so it's Prince on Star Dragon, with the kind of typical loadout. It's a level 4 death with a Dispel Scroll, Golden Crown, Iron Cursed icon on a Star Dragon. It's 2 nobles on horseback with magic items, a BSB on horseback with Banner of the World Dragon, and then in core I have 3 units, 5 Reavers with champions and bows, and then 17 Silver Helms with full command. I don't have any special choices. And then in rare, it's 2 Frost Hearts and a Great Eagle.
Nice.
Who needs bolt throwers?
Yeah, who needs bolt throwers? So it's just straight out rush list
as 2 Star Dragons and 2 Frost Hearts.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
I'm just gonna thunderstomp my way to victory.
Hey man, do what you can.
Do what I gotta do.
Hey,
and then,
man.
It's a big unit of knights just to break steadfast.
Right. Obviously. It sounds like a solid army. Sounds like it'll be a lot of fun.
I think I did the math on average. So, if I ran into a unit of 50 zombies, I think I kill it in 1 round.
Nice.
With all 4 monsters in there.
Yeah, that makes sense. Nice.
Just delete it. Take it off.
Take it off. Yeah. Nice. So, I guess that just about does it for this thank you and hobby update.
Thank you, hobby. Does anybody even care about our hobby updates?
Yeah, post in the bottom if you care about it.
We don't actually have to do hobby updates if you don't want to hear about it.
Yeah, we could just jump straight into tournament reviews if you care. I mean, if you care about that at all, post that in the bottom too.
Right. Great. Well, for Kernian and myself, Malasar, we just want to give a shout out to our opponents at Colonial Carnage as well. We had 10 great games between the 2 of us. I got 4 best game votes. So, I mean, all that beer I was handing my opponents paid off. Yeah,
exactly. You were bribing them with just cold hard cash, man. We both know it.
Pretty much. Which is how I was able to do the jump. And we are taking bets and bribes on which one of us will take higher for Brawler Bash too.
Oh yeah, it'll be fun.
Let us know, and for Shadows in the North, we are about as cool as we sound. Thanks, and have a great evening.